Well, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laura Torres with Careers, and I have.
I'm Wendy Layton with Chapters here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Great. And we're here to do a careers and chapter chat about survey. Our survey, which is a military lifestyle survey, a comprehensive survey of its kind that really looks and reviews the challenges, the good, the bad, and everything in between when it comes to military lifestyle. And so Wendy and I here, we have been I guess you can say leaders in our local community because we have been part of our chapters, which are the two chapters that are sort of kind of like the original funded chapters for Blue Star families, Jacksonville and San Diego, where we were always in a good, fun way in competition for growth, for addressing the needs, for serving our community. And so that's why we're here today to do a last call of action for you, our community, to complete the survey. So, Wendy, tell me just, overall, what does the survey mean to you? What does it represent for your community?
Well, I mean, I think for survey, we get so much information from families about the gaps. Where are the gaps? What are you missing? What can we help to notify, leadership and the Department of Defense and the members of the Senate? What's missing in your lives? Is it too many deployments? Is it lack of employment? Is it lack of childcare? Is it the stress of moving all the time? Lack of, finding quality education when you get to the other side? I know in Jacksonville and San Diego, we don't necessarily have the educational challenges with our families, but we can't help to advocate for you if we don't know what the issues are.
Correct. Yeah. And I know here in San Diego, the biggest challenge a while back, when we first started looking at the different, the top concerns, military spouse employment was always on the second view. And I'm sure it still is, but it's not as high as it has been in the past. Unemployment, underemployment. And I recall that, I was always, I guess you can say it, in shock to always review and compare to our civilian counterparts when it came to military spouse unemployment, being at the 52%, being at the 30-some percent. And then last year, being around the 24%. And then, of course, now I cannot even imagine what COVID has done to us. I mean, we have the results that just came out earlier this year from last year as a result of COVID, but that was a whole different, just overall a whole tsunami of challenges that brought this whole uncertainty. But moving forward, what are those continuous challenges that we still face? I know in my case, obviously the employment and underemployment has always been the biggest drive to make a difference in our community. Because in my personal history or my personal experience, an employed spouse, it's a happy, content spouse, which is that projects to the family and the stability overall. And it makes a huge difference when it comes to the transition of the service member. I know because we have lived it firsthand. Hector, with his medical issues, exiting the military, PTSD, dealing with PTSD and major other health concerns, was not ready to work, and still now a little bit more in good conditions, but at the beginning was not ready to work. So me being able to work full time and being employed took a huge toll when it came to stress and life, life stability for our family.
Absolutely. I struggled, each time. I had a great job in San Diego, and then we got transferred to Guam, and there was really nothing I could do. And then I got pregnant and had the triplets, and then came back and struggled to find work. So I did part-time work at the exchange, wherever I could find it. And then when we got to Jacksonville, it was the same challenge. I worked at Starbucks and took part-time jobs because I couldn't find anything. And all the while, it took me 20 plus years to complete my degree because we kept moving. And, I'd start a program and then I'd have to kind of restart. So there are multiple challenges, and let's not even talk about the issues with PCSing and broken items and filing claims, and meanwhile getting your kids registered for the new school year and finding the right school, finding the right neighborhood. It all just boils over sometimes, and but it is, I think, the military families, military spouses, I say all the time, every time I encounter military spouses, I learn something from them, even still. And, you know, they're just a wealth of information. They're highly educated. They're willing and able to do things that I think our civilian counterparts are not. I respect the military spouse community on a level that is hard to describe.
Yeah, absolutely. And same here. I joined, or I became a little more involved with our community a little bit later in my military life, but I'm glad that I was able to experience a little bit. And right now I get to support our community, even after our retirement or transition, but I still feel like we're transitioning again. When you deal with medical needs and issues and situations within post-retirement, you're still connected in a way to the community. So, and interesting that you mentioned PCS. It's PCS season, so definitely there's a lot of challenges out there. I don't remember a time where we actually never paid anything out of pocket and we came clean completely. Because I know that in the military, there's this whole conception that, everything gets reimbursed or things. And in a good way, don't get me wrong, I appreciate everything that it gets supported. It's part of the job, the relocation assistance and everything. It's all good. But I know that there's a lot of families that also experience a lot of out-of-pocket costs. And I think I saw some data that an average families, when they relocate, each time that they relocate, they encounter like a $5,000 out-of-pocket cost. Because sometimes you have to relocate your pets, which are not part of it, part of the whole thing, and second vehicle or, other things. And that just becomes an insane out-of-pocket situation that you have to encounter. And then when you're not working, when you only have an income and there's only one family member who is working, there's only one income coming to the family, then that's where you find yourself. That's why so many of our younger couples or the younger, I know because we were there, you find yourself in debt or accepting fast loans with very high interest rates that completely disturb your financial life for a while. And then it's hard to get out of that. And so it becomes a very unstable situation for a while. So that's part of the PCS issues that sometimes it's good to hear, what are some of those challenges that you think will be best for you to voice and what can be done.
Absolutely. And you're right. Those loans, those high interest loans are really hard to get out from under. They're very tempting in the beginning. And you think this is really going to be our way out. And then when you realize how much interest you're paying, it's scary. And, also when you're PCSing and you have to leave, say the spouse drives maybe a car that was kind of a cash car, it's not going to make it across country. So you leave that behind and then you get to the new duty station, you have one vehicle. So that's a whole other set of issues that you now have to face. How do you go find a job when your spouse has the car on base? Or do you get up and drag your 4 kids with you to drop your spouse off? There's so many issues. I could write a book about the things that we've probably done during PCS.
Absolutely. All those issues. And you're right. I remember relocating to California the very first time back in 2003. And I did used to get up at 5 a.m, drag the 2 little ones and go and drop off Hector all the way to Las Pulgas. So those of you who are in California will know where that is, all the way to Las Pulgas area, and then come back all the way to Vista, so that I would keep the car. So I would be able to take the kids to school and do the whole thing. So it is, it's a good struggle. It's a good struggle, but definitely it's a challenge that needs to be addressed so that families can quite, thrive and be able to address those situations. So that the military, I know, is doing its best and they're doing the best they can to facilitate and accommodate the relocation and everything else. but there's also a lot of always great room for improvement and things that the families can benefit from the most. And it's always those younger rank, or sometimes the younger couples, that tend to struggle a little bit the most and don't quite raise their voice. I think as we get older, I don't know about you, Wendy, but you get more comfortable in raising your voice and
Yes.
just telling it like it needs to be done. But those out there that who are in the younger generations, perhaps less seasoned, it's good to hear what some of those struggles, because it's not the same. Our struggles now as a retiree couple is very different than what it was maybe perhaps 5 years ago, when we were just first exploring trying to transition, or even 10, 12 years ago, when we were going through recruiting duty, because that was a very challenging environment as well. So what was the most challenging lifestyle that you recall, Wendy?
Well, I remember when I got married, I was young. I married very young. And we moved to San Diego from Texas. And I was like 19 years old. And we had one car. We lived in North Park. My husband was stationed at North Island. And there was a toll on the Coronado Bridge. So we had to pay a toll every day if I needed to go to work. And, I had to pay the toll to go back to pick him up from work. And just remembering, he was an E3 and we had one child, the cost of those tolls, and then finding money to buy groceries. And, just really, there was major food insecurity. I remember how just uncomfortable I was, thinking, I don't know how we're going to buy groceries this month. And we would ask our parents if they could help us out. And, it was a scary time. It was fun. I have such fond memories. And, we were so lucky to be living in San Diego, and it's so beautiful. And I remember driving, as poor as we were, thinking, I'm so lucky to live here. And this is so awesome. But at the same time, knowing that I didn't always know where our next meal was coming from. But I guess now I look back and think, wow, the challenges are much different now. And I think now, that we've worked really hard and I'm a little older, I get to find all kinds of joy in doing the kind of work that we do and giving back to the community that has given us so much. That, I just, I still walk in those shoes, and I don't ever want to forget what it feels like to, walk in those shoes and know what that feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just, reminded me also to, as to when we were in New Orleans, actually, we were always paycheck to paycheck, always, always. He was, E1, E3, E2, and not because we were in debt, absolutely not at all. Just simply because his pay and his rank was just not enough. One of it went straight to rent and car payment, and then the next pay period was for all the basic utilities, and then leftover was for food, and then that was it. There was no fun. We always had to make our own fun, in a different sort of a just do it yourself type of way. Go to the park, go for a walk, do the stuff that you don't get charged. But I do also recall, and I see this quite often on some of our social media communities. A lot of our families sometimes struggle when there's a hardship, where there's a situation back home and you have to fly back, or you have to go in an emergency thing. You find yourself so heartbroken. Sometimes you cannot afford to go to someone's last viewing or something, just to say the least. I recall that if it wasn't because my mom, when we were in New Orleans, my mom always used to help me and support me. She always used to send me money. And, just buy this or go buy groceries or buy the grandchild, we bought her crib with her funds. She always used to support us that way. And I remember one year we had a family death, and we were struggling to go, and I had reserved that money my mom had given me, and I had not told Hector yet that I had the money, because very proud he didn't want to get money or take a hand from our family. But it happened that we had a family emergency and he had to fly back to be with his brother. And, we were struggling. So we were going to go to the Navy Relief to see if we could get some funds loaned. And then that's when I said, well, I have this money my mom gave me if you want to use it. go ahead. It was supposed to be for the crib and the nursery and all that stuff, but we don't need it. And he ended up using it to come in and take care of family business. Otherwise, at an E3, pay grade, there was no way he would have been able to afford it.
So. No. And I think it's a common occurrence. And, I was grateful for an organization like Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. They helped us on numerous occasions. And now they're one of the organizations that I give to as often as I can, because they really do help. But I hate that we have our families that are in these predicaments, but bills, rent, utilities, car payment, car insurance, and now with cable and internet and all of those things are required, for jobs to work from home. It's a lot different than when we didn't even have anything called internet in my day. So it's a lot more expensive to live. I can't imagine being a young military family getting stationed, especially in California, with the cost of living. I just don't even know how we would have done it now.
Yeah, absolutely. There is so many issues. So, if you're watching this and you're identifying with any of our stories, I please ask that you share, tag, or just, reshare our survey, which the link is right here. And then we're going to post it above also with this segment, so that we can really just voice our challenges. So be a voice to your community, and then help us reach those numbers that we need, especially, like we said, the younger we need. Tell me all that we need, Wendy. We need for sure. We need Marine Corps. Ooh, that's us. What else do we need?
I know that junior enlisted military, yes, across the board, and not just the family members, but the service members. We need their voices. And I have this week been personally emailing my friends and family and asking them to take survey that, our numbers are not where we would like them to be. We want a broader range of voices. So I think Florida had 351 yesterday for the whole state, and 70 something for Jacksonville area, and then a few in Georgia. But I need folks to please take it, complete it. If you get interrupted, you just go back to the same browser, pick up where you left off, and complete it. Those numbers matter, and we like to kind of hit a target of about 500 respondents per community, so that we have a bigger picture in that community, whether it's San Diego, Jacksonville, Dayton, Chicago, New York, Baltimore, National Capital Region, Utah. I'm sure I'm forgetting Missouri, Clarksville. Take it. Please take it.
Take it. Whatever you are in the country, even if you are overseas, just take it, but one day you'll be back to your community. You will relocate to Jacksonville. You might relocate to San Diego. And it's important for you to be a voice and to explain and share your challenges, but also make a difference for those in your community that perhaps, if you do relocate, but it will make a significant impact for those younger generations of military or future wives or future, children that might be growing up in those communities, because there will be better services for them. Better school options for our kids as you raise up a family. And so it's important for all to share that at the local level, and just, again, continue to really put that out there too. Especially, we, like Wendy said, we need the junior enlisted generations. We need those.
And Texas is beating everyone, and we don't have a funded chapter there. So I think Texas is trying to tell us something, that we need to get representation there. And I think we're working on that. I think we have one of our deploy fellows there in the San Antonio area. And I think Stacy's going to be there. So we're coming for you, Texas, and we're going to grow and make things better there too. So watch for it.
Yeah. But in the meantime, until we get there, make sure that you complete the survey all across the U.S. with a voice, and let us know what we can do. Help us continue in the career side, to continue to fight military spouse unemployment and underemployment. One of the key goals here from our program is to really help enhance the visibility of the military spouse challenges when it comes to employment and underemployment, but also identified key partners who are willing and often go above and beyond to support military spouses, getting them into sustainable and meaningful opportunities. Sustainable, it's key right there. I mean, we love to be employed, but sustainable too, because you have to make enough money for you to be able to come up clean with the cost of childcare as well. So those kind of things. And then, of course, underemployment, to make sure that we continue to identify issues that are not being addressed when it comes to finding those key opportunities, so that spouses who are, who have worked or invested into their education, who have a certain high level of degrees and education, can actually work for the careers that actually invested. Not that there's anything wrong with any other career at all. I totally believe in all jobs, period. But there are certain degrees that require certain level of entry and pay and ranking. And I mean, you work yourself for it. So it's important for us to identify where those are, so that our community can continue to expand and thrive.
And they can also use programs like Onward to Opportunity and go get some of those certifications that they need to get their foot in the door at some of these careers that are open. So
Absolutely.
That's thing to look into. And Onward to Opportunity is virtual. You can join from anywhere. So there's another really great opportunity for free
and no cost. That's right. And if we would not know that, yeah, absolutely, it's free and no cost. And if we did not know that military spouses were experiencing these challenges and underemployment, or in certain communities, certifications are key to get into great sustainable opportunities, there will be no Onward to Opportunity. There will be no other programs like that. But because we know that those are some barriers in certain communities, then certifications, it's key. And the fact that it's free, it's even better.
Free is always good.
That's right. So, all right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. So thank you, Wendy, for being with me and sharing your perspective about the survey, why it's so important. Again, for me, as it's always been super important to be able to continue the work that we have done. All of my counterparts, my people before, through our program, key leaders who were part of our careers program and made a significant difference, all the work that has already been advanced, that we continue to share our voice so that we continue to move forward and continue to support military spouses. But it's important for us to have that data to do that. And I'm sure for your community, it's important for you, because that's how you will be able to help the entire community unit, your families, children, everybody. So.
Absolutely. These are my people, and I want to do all I can. So I need to hear their voices.
Perfect. Thank you, Wendy. Have a good one, everyone. And please post your questions, post your comments, and let us know how we can support you and help you. We love to connect with you guys. Thank you.